Welcome to the Learn to Sew Academy channel. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you.
This is part 2 of our video on making a 6-piece top. If you have not seen the first part, be sure to check in the description for the link to the first part of this tutorial. To work on the back, what I've done is I've folded this again into two. So what we're going to need for the back is the bust point. We're also going to need the bust measurement. We're going to need a waist measurement. So what we're going to be doing now is we want to measure from the center back. Remember, we don't have a zipper in the back. Our zipper was in the front. So from the center back, we want to measure a bust span. We're going to need the bust measurement. We're going to need our waist measurement. So sorry, I didn't know the camera stopped rolling. What I did here was I folded this into two. And when I folded it, I measured what I had for my center front to make sure that what I have here corresponds to that center front. Then I started by using my bust span, which was 8.5. I divided that by 2. I added half an inch of seam allowance. So over here I have 4.75. So I measured the 4.75 all across from the center until I got to that waistline, which is my half length point. So that is what I did over here. I drew a straight line to measure, to mark that point. And then I started now from my waistline. I went in half an inch to mark my dart. If you've seen some of my other videos, you will see that when we do a dart, we normally fold and take that half an inch. So I'm coming in half an inch to be my dart point, to mark for my dart. So that half an inch is what I now connected up to where I have my bust point. So I used my curve ruler to draw a line just so I have a little curve, so it's not all straight and sharp. So I used that to connect it. Again, I did the bust span, that's a nipple to nipple mark, plus my extra 0.5 inch, half an inch of allowance for my seam allowance, and I drew a line all the way straight to my half length. I came in at the half length by half an inch for my darts, and that point is where I now joined to my bust point over here, and from that point I now did my slant all the way to the end. That is what I did here, and we're not going to have our neckline shaped yet until after we have joined the back as well. So what I want to do now is to do the sides of the back, the right side and the left side. So that's why I have folded another piece of fabric here, and I'm folding this like this because again I'm working with this end of my fabric because that's where I have the pattern, and I want all the bottom of the top to be the same. So I keep using this. I have to keep refolding. So what we're going to do here too is going to be very similar in a way to what we did with the front. We're going to just align this. We're going to cut this point because this is where we're going to be joining. This is going to be, again, this is my center back like that. So this is where I'm going to be joining to the right and the left of the back, like we did for the front, that we're going to have a slant on the side. So we need to fold this so that we'll have enough slant for the side, and we also want to have enough for our additional seam allowance. So I'm going to fold this some more. What I'm doing is I'm going to use this center back like a template, just like we did for the front. So I need this for just this part, this center joining part. This is where we're going to join them at the center. So this part is going to be where we're going to cut for the right side and the left side of the back of the top that we're making. So what I'm going to do is something similar to what we did in the front. This is your bust point, and your bust is 42. When you divide that by 4, you get 10.5. And this right here is 4.5 already. Out of this 4.5, we have half an inch. So technically, we have 4 inches here for the front. So if you now say 10.5, less than 4 inches, you're left with 6.5. So what we want to measure now is the 6.5 from here, and then you're going to add your allowances. And based on what we did with the front, we determined that we'll add 2 extra inches. So now we're going to need 2 extra inches to the 6.5. So that's going to give us 8.5, which is the mark I have right here. An alternative way to do it is to remember that this 4-inch that you have here is going to be on this part. So you can start from that 4-inch, and then you measure for your 10.5 that you need, which is right here, and then you add your additional allowances that you wanted to add, which we said we're going to be adding 2. So 1, 2, and you know that that's where your point is. And the waist we are using here is 36 inches. You divide that by 4, you have 9 inches. Then what we have here is approximately 4.5. But again, we have half an inch for our seam allowance here. So technically we have 4 inches here. So we save 9 inches less the 4 inches that we have already cut here. So that leaves us with 5 inches. So what we want to do is we want to measure that 5 inches, and we want to add whatever we have decided to make our seam allowance. So we're looking at adding 2 inches to the 5 inches. So that right there, we are going to have 7 inches. So I'm just going to join from up there down here. Again, this is where my waistline is, and you may want to just measure that and make sure you are at the same point. It's right here. So it's from this point now that you want to do a slant all the way to the end. And we determined earlier that a slant, I'm just going to check what I have here. And that we determined when we did the front that this right here, we added about 3.5 more. So I'm going to do 3.5 more right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slant it from this waist point all the way to the end of the blouse. And I'm just going to make this a little curvy over here. And this right here, I'm going to just draw straight line all the way to the top. Again, I'm not going to shape the armhole until after I join the side. That will just simplify the whole process. So now I'm going to cut, and I'm just going to trace what I have here like I explained earlier. And again, I'm going to put a kind of mark to help me to quickly find the center where I'm joining to the center. Just makes it easier to locate where I am joining it to the center when I start to sew. So this completes the cutting of this 6-piece top. I'm not going to cut the sleeve yet until I do the armhole, so I'm going to do that in the next video after I join the pieces together. So I'm going to show you that in the next video. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and share our videos. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to do so, and please spread the word. And again, if you would like to join us for our online premium classes, please check our website and see what we have. Check learntosew.academy.com. We've received several requests and several questions about that. So if you're one of those that you're curious to know how you can take your sewing to the next level and you want to learn freehand sewing with us, please check us online, learntosew academy.com. All right, thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.